Okay guys, I'm going to go ahead and lay out the 16-foot wall with the 3 stud corners. I'm going to do that. I'm going to start a 2D sketch. I'm first going to start with the sole plate, or bottom plate, sometimes called a mud sill, but there's a 2x4, which is 1.5 by 3.5 laid on edge. Typically it's treated in construction, but I'm going to go ahead and lay that out. It's 16 feet long. So I'm going to draw that. I'm going to choose the YZ plane, and I'm going to begin by drawing a rectangle that is 1.5 inches tall. I'll enter 1.5. I'll hit tab 3.5 and then hit enter. And then I'm going to go ahead and complete the sketch. Go to my home view here, and you'll see there it is. Now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to extrude that. And I'm going to extrude that 16 feet, 16, and if I put an apostrophe there, inventor will go ahead and interpret that as feet, and you can see there I now have a 16-foot long 2x4 modeled. Again, it's 1.5 by 3.5. Now, if I look here at my plans, I have 3 studs starting at the left corner, or the left edge of the 2x4 that extend up. I'm going to go ahead and model those. I'm going to do that by sketching rectangles that are 1.5 by 3.5, which is the cross section of a 2x4. And again, that's going to be 1.5. Notice I'm just entering before I even do anything. 1.5 by 3.5, that's already there. I can just hit enter. I'm going to go ahead and model all 3 of them while I have rectangle hit. I'll go ahead and hit 1.5 and enter. And I'm going to go ahead and model the last one. And that's going to be 1.5. So when I do that, I'm going to get 3 rectangles extruded here on that. I'm going to then extrude those up, and the question naturally becomes how far to extrude it. I don't want to extrude it 16 feet, so rather I want to do a little math here. I can see over here the total height of my drawing is 97 1/8, but that includes 3 1.5 cross foot or 1.5 inch sections of 2x4, so it's going to be 97 1/8 minus 4.5, which comes out to 92 5/8. So I'm going to want to go ahead and type in 92 5/8, and it will convert it for me. Now, when you notice this, extrusion, it went extruded, and it all looks like one piece, and I don't necessarily like that. So I'm going to go back and redo my extrusion. And when I do it, I'm going to hit this little magic button here, right here, which says new solid. And you'll notice that 92 5/8 is still there. I hit OK, and you can see that it'll extrude it as 2 separate pieces. I actually made a new solid. The drawing is no longer available. If I were to hit extrude, I can't, I have to draw a new sketch. I don't want to do that over. So what I do here is I come here and I right click on sketch 2 and hit share sketch. That'll allow me to use that sketch again. I do have to hit every time new solid so that it keeps on giving me new pieces. And I've put 3 studs here on the end. It looks pretty good. If I want to go ahead and change it now, I can go ahead and change it. If I'd rather model in wood, I can come over here to I Properties, which is under File. I go all the way to the right where it says Physical, and I can go ahead and change that from a generic material to wood. The closest thing to what we'd frame with would probably be birch. I hit Apply and close, and now you can see that it's starting to look like a wood frame, which is what I'm after. So going back, and I'm going to go ahead and add some studs here. Going back, I noticed that there's a stud here that is, the center of it is 16 inches from the left edge of the wall. So it's going to be, this left edge here is actually going to be 15 3/4 of an inch from that left edge. It's any framing tape measure, any really tape measure you'd buy in the United States of America probably has this setup on it, so it's very common. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to add a rectangle, and I'm just going to kind of put it on here at random, lining it up with the stud, but it's going to be 1.5, and I can go ahead and hit enter, and then I'll dimension that over. So this edge is going to be 16 inches. Oh, gosh, I said that incorrectly. 15.75, which is 3/4 of an inch from that edge. Now, with halfway across the stud being 3/4 of an inch, I have incorrectly done that, and I'm going to want to change that measure to 15.25, and that would make it 3/4 of an inch to the middle plus that 15.25, which would be 16 inches. So that's how that's going to line up, and that would be ready for extrusion. I'm going to go ahead and add the rest of my studs and cross section here, and I'm going to do that utilizing the copy command. I'm going to come and I'm going to copy all 4 sides. You can see they change their shade, I guess, of blue, and I'm going to use precise input, and I'm going to choose a base point. The base point I'll just choose along this, and then I'm going to go ahead, move this down to here, and I'll type 16 because I'm going to want 16 inches between corresponding points. That's what it means to be 16s off center. And then I can go to 32 and place that. And I'm going to go ahead and make this a little more comfortable. 32.48 would be my next measurement. And if you ever looked at a tape measure, you'd notice that this is how that goes. My next one, 48 and 16, would be 64. And I'm going to just keep on doing multiples here. 64 and 16 would be, I believe, 80. If I make a mistake here in math, I apologize. 80 and 16 is 96, which would place it right there. 96 and 16 would be 112. I'll place that right there. 112 and 16 would be 128. And I'll have to go ahead and scroll in and out a little bit. Let's see, 128 and 16 would be 144. 144 and 16 would be 160. I like that math. And then 160 is 176. And you see that's going to put me out on the edge, and that's not realistic. So that last one I'm going to X out of, and I'll hit done. And then I'm going to go ahead and put 3 studs in that have to exist on the right edge of the wall also as I look at it. Again, that's going to be 1.5 by 3.5. I'm going to go ahead and add 3 of the studs right now, being careful that my corners line up. And let's see, 1.5, enter. Okay, now at this point I can finish my sketch. Got a whole bunch of measurements on here, so I want to go ahead and I'll extrude all of these at once, and got to kind of be careful here to hit them. I'm going to check they are going to go ahead, and I'm going to extrude all of these. Looks like I'm going to reach my recording limit, so I'll have to continue here in part 2. Just going to finish out this wall.